Hello, everyone. This is Annie Palmer, the literacy coach and literacy curriculum facilitator for the Smithville School District. This screencast will replace the new Teacher ELA training that was canceled on July 9th. Thanks again for your understanding of that cancellation. This will be an overview, but I'll point you in a direction of where you can find more information and also give you some great contact information. One thing that you'll find in Smithville is that we have some phenomenal teachers that are more than willing to jump in and collaborate and help you out. Okay, so I have about 15 minutes before the screencast will shut down, so my goal is to get through this in 15 minutes. If I don't, then I will make another short screencast to go along with this. So welcome to the district. We are excited for you guys to join us. It's a very exciting time with the new elementary being built and us going to K-6 elementary schools. So exciting times will be had by all. Okay, so I'm going to just go through our agenda. I will share this agenda with you so you have all of these links. So the first thing we're going to hit is our literacy why. You can watch that video if you would like to, but basically the point is that in Smithville, our ultimate goal for literacy instruction is to create, in regard to reading, I would say, is to create lifelong readers. Yes, we want high test scores. Yes, we want them to score well on the district benchmark assessments. However, ultimately, we want them to be able to go out into the world or on their own time and to use literacy to better their lives. And part of that is getting them excited and engaged in reading. If I go to this link here, we do have a Smithville School District literacy plan. And you will get a copy of this. I'm just going to scroll down. We have a literacy philosophy statement. It's in the yellow box here. Definitely read over that. But I'm going to hit some of the things here about our literacy beliefs because this really tells you who we are as a district. So number one, top of the list is authentic literacy. So anytime you're figuring out how to or what tools to use in your classroom, think to yourself, is it authentic literature? Not that you can't ever use literature that's kind of made up. For example, maybe something you would find on Teachers Pay Teachers that somebody wrote up a paragraph to practice a main idea, for example. It's fine, things like that happen, but for the most part, we want you to be using authentic text with the kids. Facilitate lifelong reading, choice and reading selection. That's a big part of the workshop model, is to let them have choice in what they're reading. Opportunities to talk about books and strategies. And then probably another big one is intentional targeted instruction. And I'm going to show you some ideas of how to do that as we go through this screencast. Okay. In regard to this document here, like I said, it is our Smithville School District literacy plan. Definitely it would be helpful to look through it. I don't know that you have to read it page for page, but it does give you an idea of who we are and what we believe and what we do in regard to literacy in the district. Okay. So going down to curriculum. I'm going to click on this link here. Actually, that just goes back to our literacy plan. I am going to go to page 12, where it begins to discuss curriculum. So 2 years ago, we made the transition from Common Core to the Missouri Learning Standards. As a part of that process, we used the approach outlined by Larry Ainsworth, where you identify priority and supporting standards in your curriculum. The idea here is that we're focusing on less standards, but going deeper with those standards, because it would be impossible. You guys have probably seen the Missouri Learning Standards. It would be impossible to teach every single one of those to every single student for mastery. So we would rather teach less and go deep, and that's what our priority and supporting standards help us with. When we determined our priority standards, right here at the top are the 4 requirements that we focused on. They included lifelong skills or concepts. That was first and foremost. Cross-curricular leverage, readiness for next grade level. And then 4th on the list, still important, but 4th on the list is state tested. And that's how our priority standards were chosen by our teachers. The priority standards have been put into a district scope and sequence, which you will see in your curriculum folders. It is our guaranteed and viable curriculum. So it is these standards that we're promising to the public that we're going to attempt to have all kids master before they leave us. And it is the standards that are assessment focused in our common assessments. Supporting standards are taught as they support mastery of the priority standards. They can be assessed if your PLC determines that they need to be assessed. And then basically everything else are the other standards. Not that you don't teach those standards, but it's more likely that they will be embedded into your instruction. So these links here are links to each grade level's priority standards. I'm not going to show those to you yet. I'm going to show you how to access those in your Google folder where our curriculum is housed. Okay, so speaking of which, on the agenda, I have linked, and I need to add 6th grade. Still getting used to 6th grade being at the elementary level. So you can click on this to find your curriculum folder. It has already been shared with you. So if you have your Google account, it should be in your shared with me folder. So as an example, let's go to 2nd grade. Excuse me. So the layout of every grade level's folder is basically the same with some small differences. Every folder should have a folder called DESE Documents. Okay, within that folder, I have DESE's Glossary of Terms, the Missouri Learning Expectations, Item Specifications, which breaks down all the standards for you, and ELA and Social Studies Crosswalk. All of these documents are on DESE's website, but sometimes it's easier if it's all in one place for you. Okay, let me go back here. So most grade levels have a reading workshop folder. Well, I would say all grade levels have a reading workshop folder. Some grade levels have a writing workshop folder. Honestly, guys, our work over the last couple of years have really focused on reading workshop, and so you'll probably find a lot of support with reading workshop. And writing workshop kind of varies by grade level, so you're going to have to talk to your grade level team at your building to see kind of how they approach writing workshop. We have accessed and used Lucy Dawkins' units of instructions in years past, but with modifications. So definitely talk to your grade level colleagues about what they're doing for writing workshop. Before I go to let me go ahead and go to reading workshop. So it should be organized by unit. So it should be very clear what unit you're doing and how to progress through those units. Every single grade level should start with a launch unit. If you haven't done reading workshop before, that's basically where you're setting up your reading workshop, which takes 4 to 6 weeks to be able to do effectively. So you're teaching kids how to have stamina, how to set goals. You're getting to know kids during that time and getting to know their reading abilities, which is going to really help guide your instruction. Within that folder, somewhere, it's either going to be in the reading workshop folder, or it might just be in the main folder here, is your scope and sequence. For 2nd grade, they put their reading workshop scope and sequence in their reading workshop folder, and their writing workshop scope and sequence is in the writing workshop folder. So again, this template should be common across all grade levels with some variations. It gives you the unit title, the metacognitive strategy that you're going to want to reinforce, and any embedded supporting standards, approximate duration. So over here you see these standards that are kind of abbreviated or shortened. These are the priority standards for second grade. I would highly suggest actually looking at the priority standard and not just this, because this may not tell you the level of rigor that you need when instructing on that priority standard. So there you go. There's your scope and sequence. Let's see here. Move this up a little bit. Close this. What else do I need to show you here? The Smithville School District Literacy Plan is in every folder. That's that green document there. And every grade level should have a curriculum overview folder. So second grade curriculum overview or fifth grade curriculum overview, etc. Within that folder, you'll see the priority standards document. And some grade levels actually have their priority standards document within the grade level. Others, you might have to actually come down here and click on it. These you will want to become very familiar with because these are what's on the grade card. These are guaranteed and viable curriculum standards, specifically the priority standards. So the basic layout is priority standard 1 is in the first column. The part that's in bold is the STEM from the Missouri Learning Standard, and this is the actual expectation. And then below that, you see the supporting standards for priority 1. So you'll want to teach that, whether it's specifically in the units or not. Make sure you hit on that because the supporting standard is going to help students master the priority standard. Okay, and then same thing, priority 2, supporting standard 2, etc. So definitely take a look at this document, become very familiar with it throughout the year. Okay, let's see where we need to go to next. I would highly suggest you just take some time just playing around and trying to find things within your curriculum folder. We've made a big attempt to make them as organized as possible. So hopefully you find what you need. If you don't, definitely don't hesitate to contact me or your grade level colleagues. Okay, so let me go ahead and close out of this. If you have curriculum questions, definitely contact me because I am the literacy curriculum facilitator for the district. So I have led this process of determining our curriculum and making the units and organizing everything. So definitely let me know if you have a question. You can try your grade level colleagues, but honestly, probably the best people other than myself is going to be the former literacy facilitators. So in the past, not this year, but in the past, we had teachers that were our facilitators who wrote our curriculum. And this green and white table here shows you who they are for each grade level. I would need to add sixth grade for you, although sixth grade's a little tricky because of all the movement. If there's a line through it, it's because they no longer are in that grade level. So these people, again, aren't official facilitators anymore because we do not have that position anymore, but they would probably be more than happy to answer any questions that you have. That means if they're not in your building, you might need to email them. Okay, so I'm at 14 minutes and 30 seconds. So I'm going to wrap up the video here and then finish the rest in another screencast. Thanks, guys.